In this video, we're going to take a look at some of Oscar Peterson's most iconic licks from the tune Hymn to Freedom, which was recorded on an album in 1963 called Night Train. Hey, it's Paul Tobey here from Jazzmentl.com. Thanks, of course, for joining me for another one of my tutorials. If you're familiar at all with Oscar's playing, he was an amazing jazz piano tactician. Really blistering lines and very iconic bluesy jazz licks. And that's what we're going to learn in this tutorial. If you want to play a little bit like Oscar Peterson, it's important to take a look at some of these licks. On your screen, I've transcribed the first part of his solo from the album Night Train. And if you're not familiar with the tune Hymn to Freedom, it basically goes something like this. And then it ends like this. And that's where the solo begins. So the band starts to pick up a little bit, playing swing. It really is a 12/8 feel. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, like that. So at the end of the tune, starting with the triplets at the end. And that's, of course, very iconic for Oscar Peterson to play lines like that. We're going to analyze it up until a certain point. I don't want to over inundate you with Oscar Peterson licks, but some of these are pretty standard for Oscar. Let's start off with the beginning of the solo where you've got this triplet happening here, but you've also got these two grace notes. Now, grace notes were an important part of Oscar's playing. I play this with my first, second, and third finger. It's really just going up the scale here to G minor. Nothing too serious about that. Another triplet. And this is where we get into the Oscar licks. Again, you start to see the grace notes. And of course, we're talking about bar 4 here. You got two grace notes leading into the third of E flat. Obviously, the feel is triplets. So what you have here is an E flat chord, an A flat chord over E flat, and then an E flat 7. So this is the E flat 7 here. This is the A flat over E flat, and then it gets back to E flat here. So you've got this kind of bluesy thing. Pretty typical for Oscar. And then he does the same thing again on B flat. He just changes the rhythm a bit. It's still triplets, but he's starting on different beats. Of course, the hand jumps around quite a bit there. You've got this part, and then this part is down an octave here, so you jump pretty quickly. Okay, so starting with the end of the line, you've got this triplet here, an eighth note happening there, and then a really iconic phrase right here. Let's play it. It's really important to kind of get that rhythm right. It's very difficult to transcribe something like that. You really have to catch these notes here where you've got the flat 7, 6 to 5. But you're still playing the third of the chord up here on top together. That's very Oscar. And then you've got this line here, which is really just kind of think of it like G minor. Okay, let's play that from the beginning of the line. And then it just goes to the C7 chord, as if it were the tune. Now, I didn't transcribe the entire thing because I think it's a lot for one video. If you just learn these blues licks or these jazz blues licks, then that's really going to help you with how to play like Oscar Peterson. Again, it's just all about grace notes and playing this type of progression. It's like gospel, blues, and jazz all mixed into one. And that's how Oscar Peterson played. I'm going to post a link to this transcription up here in the corner. Go and download that. It's absolutely free to do it. And if you've got some value out of this video and you learned a few Oscar Peterson licks, just reach down, hit the little thumbs up button. It really helps us here on the channel. If you'd like to subscribe and join thousands of jazz pianists around the world, we'd love to have you. Just click the little bell and we'll notify you of all the upcoming tutorials that we're making. If you want to look at a tutorial of the entire tune To Hymn to Freedom and the way that Oscar plays the head, and this is of course one of his compositions, I'm going to post a link to that video right here.